They done brought Unk back! What's up guys, I'm Hunter here, and here we are to do a breakdown / live reaction and review to chapter 177 of Sakamoto Days, which is known as, I don't see it on the first page, but I'm gonna call it the return of Unk Kindaka. They done brought my boy back. They have stuck in that bed ever since the Sakamoto's past art, dog. It's been years on years on years. He's going to be so fodder. He's either going to be so fodder or he's going to be the most cracked character in the entire series. There's no in-between, but considering he's literally been bedridden and he was already, like, falling out of his prime before the end of the Sakamoto's past arc, I am definitely worried for his potency, but it's clear I don't think he's actually going to be a fighter unless Suzuki-sensei wants to shatter my ankles again. His whole narrative role is likely going to be buffing up our actual main casting crew. I wonder if he's going to buff up Nagumo, though, because, like, ain't Nagumo already swole? Like, with Sakamoto gone, technically, he was the best fighter in the order. But I suppose that's before Torres, and before Tanabanta got introduced, and also before, like, the proper introduction of Oki. We don't actually know where Oki scales relative to the rest of the order members. He is the leader, though. And we also don't really know, like, how much the whole suppression of Sakamoto inside of Uzuki's going. So I guess maybe even Nagumo's gonna have to get buffed up. We're gonna have to see, because we got my goat on the color page. I'm so excited. Let's not waste any more time, and let's hop right into it. Heading me. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do mean to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, look at him. Look at him. I'm so happy he's back. I'm sorry. I really like Kindaka. It's mainly, like, here's the thing, right? Kindaka, if you were to, like, total his screen time, probably has maybe, like, 5 chapters worth of screen time. Maybe. If you take all his panels and fuse them together. I'm including, like, panels where he appears in other characters' like, narratives while he's asleep and stuff like that. He does not appear that much, but he's the speedster archetype. And I really like speedsters. Is there more to it than that? Yeah, I also think he's a pretty neat guy. I do think he's, like, an actual fun character, but no, it's mostly the speedster stuff. And look at Nagumo. He's like, Kindaka, you didn't hear me talking about the... I think he was thinking it last chapter. I don't think he actually said it out loud. He may have said it out loud, though, where he's like, well, gonna have to pull the plug on you, big man. But nah, even Nagumo's like, Unk is back? Unk? I didn't think you were gonna come back. Did not think Suzuki-sensei was gonna recanonize you. But, to be fair, the Chekhov's Spagooter was like, it was on the wall. Like, it makes sense for him to come back. And especially now. Like, remember, no, I think it was Yotomoto was the original leader, but Kindaka was also a leader. I forget how that whole situation. I need to reread Sakamoto Days again. I read through it twice, way too fast. I need to reread through it again. I forget if Kindaka was the leader of the order, and then Yotomoto was just his boss, or if Yotomoto was the leader, and Kindaka was like a co-leader of the order. Regardless, let's see what has to happen in chapter 177. Kindaka. And thank you guys for answering the voice acting question. Honestly... people said, a couple people said Kindaka, and I know y'all just said that to make me feel good. I appreciate that. Thank you. That does touch my soul. But so many people brought up Boiled, and I'm like, y'all are so right. I like, my regular voice would literally just go so perfect for Boiled. Like, honestly, I know I'm gonna, like, look into cast. It'd be so fun to be cast in Sakamoto Days, even if it was for, like, a one-off part like Boiled. But I may literally, like, go back to those manga scenes and, like, do a little voice act redo, just to see what it sounds like and what it looks like. But with that being the case, let's hop into chapter 177. Oh, they just flat out called it Kindaka. Alright. Oh, that's neat. Who is that supposed to... Oh, Osaragi, Nagumo, Shishiba, Lu, Shin, reading manga? Oh, that's adorable. He's reading My Hero Academia since it just ended. Amane and Heisuke. And then just, of course... Hold on. Editing me. I'm gonna slide you the greatest assist of the century. Watch. Editing me. Let me cook, editing me. Yeah. Then this big old Sakamoto. Once again, since it's being animated for Netflix, I'm very interested to see how the Sakamoto Days anime comes out. It's not Record of Ragnarok levels of detailed, so it definitely can be fine. And I believe Dungeon Meshi is a very popular recent anime that I still haven't read the manga for. I read Freyrin was like a last year thing, or like earlier this year thing, that I finally read, and I love it. You're gonna be flooded with Freyrin videos soon. I already have an OC made, and his backstory, and his power set. I don't know, I love Freyrin, but that's a late stage anime. But I think it was Dungeon Meshi was the popular recent fantasy anime that got adapted by Netflix, and apparently it's very, very good. I haven't watched it, mainly because, you know, despite being a guy who talks a lot about anime and manga, I mostly talk about manga, and I mostly read manga. I don't actually watch anime all too often. But Sakamoto Days, it's one of my favorite series, action-wise. I'm scared. I'm scared, because there's a certain dynamism that's captured in the manga that I'm afraid that Netflix won't be able to capture. It's the same thing with the Record of Ragnarok anime, where they got the detail mostly right, but because of how fluid the animation has to be for that much detail, it didn't end up coming out too good, and I'm scared. The same thing for Sakamoto Days, because it's Sakamoto Days, but let me not be a doomer. Let me have some hope as I cope. But let's actually hop into chapter 177, Kindaka. I keep saying that. Let's see if I can actually get into it. 8 years? I was in a coma for 8 years? I mean, I suppose that is like the most rational, immediate response. Like, what? 8? And think about it. That was from a one-off random poison guy. Like, for Kindaka's relative narrative importance, like, he was taken out by a wholesale random. Like, just one dude. And by the way, no one else fell to that guy. It was only Kindaka. Nagamo was fine. Sakamoto was fine. Rion was fine. She got later. And Izuki dropped the antidote, but was also fine. So yeah, dog, it's been a minute and a half. 8 years. I was in a coma for 8 years? Whew. You haven't changed a bit. How old are you? I don't know. Admittedly, like, I grew up relatively quickly. Like, I've kind of appeared the way I am for a while. Like, late teenage years and me are basically the same, except I've gained weight. That's the only thing that's changed. I'm trying to, like, so I lose the weight and go back to at least looking like a younger me. But with that being the case, after a certain point, you do kind of just stop aging, or like changing drastically, and then you get to a point where your body starts to show signs of age. So 8 years, well, it is a long time. At least once, and I believe all the kids are like late teenager stage. Like Sakamoto didn't change all too much. Rion didn't look like she was going to change too much. They kind of were in their stages of early adulthood. If it was like an 18-year time skip, then maybe I'd expect more differences. But Nagamo, especially with his whole profanity for being from a spy family, should I go back to live reacting and reviewing that manga? I probably should. I picked it up for a little bit, and I still do read it. I just stopped live reacting for the channel. I may. Kind of dropped under luck. I'll see. But with it being the case, he comes from a spy family, and his whole thing is disguise. So, who knows? Maybe Nagamo is actually meant to look older, but his base self, quote-unquote, is a consistently altered version of what he's supposed to be. Let's see. How rude! I've been through plenty. And actually accurate. Nagamo, he's one of the characters next... Well, obviously, he's one of the... I'd say he's like a pseudo-deuteragonist. Shin's obviously the main deuteragonist, but like... Nagamo's up there. He actually has been through a whole lot, especially recently. Let's see. The doctor said you'd never wake up. It's a miracle. How much do you remember, Kindaka? Ugh, right. I was on a bodyguard assignment with you kids, and... Oh, sweet mother. He's starting to remember. He's learning everything. But that's intriguing. Obviously, like, narratively... The reason he wakes up now is because you kind of can't have him earlier in the narrative. Not for, like, power scaling reasons. There are some characters, especially in, like, series that are heavily combat-based, like other shonen battle manga, I'll typically say, you can't introduce X character here, because they break the story. And not in, like, the fun break the story, as in, no, like, the story actually falls apart, and you can't tell more arcs if this character appears too early. In JJK, no spoilers for the manga, there are a bunch of characters like that who get introduced later on, who if they got introduced earlier... even slightly earlier in some characters' cases, they'd break the story, as we know it. So, I wouldn't say Kindaka's one of those tier characters, mainly because he, like, wouldn't really change all too much. Maybe? It depends on, like, how he would interact with the shifting of power in the JAA. If he was still alive, and he got his back healed, maybe he would cause problems. But, like, if you went into a coma and, say, woke up 4 years earlier, than the 8 years, I'm not sure how much would change. Genuinely not sure. Maybe Actually, maybe a lot. I'd have to rethink on that. Maybe Kindaka is one of those characters who you can't let wake up too early. But in universe, the reason I bring that up is in universe, I'm wondering why he woke up now. Was it legit just it took 8 years for his body to detoxify? Like that poison that got him was like that good? Like that good? Like how what was in that? Can we replicate it? Can we use it on Uzuki? But let's see. Huh? Oh, let me go back in time. I'm using typically I use a. Can I say this? Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I typically use a different website whenever I do my manga reviews, but I'm fresh on these chapters releases, so the website I typically use isn't usable right now. So I'm using Viz, and thusly the way Viz formats things, at least I don't know, if I can find a way to do it on Viz in the way I do typically, I typically don't have to do the shifting back and forth. I just scroll, but I have to do the shifting back and forth, and I have to remember where, because I do things so weirdly. Like, from an editing standpoint, I'm really weird on how I do things, because I don't have editing software. That stuff's expensive. I have the free editing software that comes with my computer, and I screen record what I do on the computer, record with the camera, put the camera stuff, record with the camera, which is connected to the mic, so the audio syncs up better. And then I have to edit weird cropping stuff in my editing software. Most people probably know what editing software I use, but I don't want to say, don't want to drop the plug for free. But with it being the case, it's a little tedious to go back and forth. And I also am trying to be careful to not spoil myself almost with the next page, because Viz shows everything in a 2-page format. So I'm trying to be careful. I'm trying to dance especially. But let's see. Where are the others? Sakamoto and a cow and Uzuki. Are they alive? So he doesn't remove. Does he think it was a mistake? Maybe that's it. Maybe he thinks it was a genuine real life mistake what Uzuki did and wasn't intentional. Because like when Kindaka dove for it, like he dove for it specifically because he saw Uzuki drop it. He had eyes on Uzuki holding the antidote, and then he burst, and then the poison got him. So I wonder if he thinks Uzuki legitimately dropped it. Probably based on his lack or blasé reaction to them. And Nagamo's like, that is the most appropriate response of like, I mean, let's see, one of them is gone. The other one's alive, and in the worst scenario ever, in the sense that he's stronger than we could ever imagine. He's also an enemy to the JAA. Also, I'm not an order member anymore. Also, Sakamoto has a kid, and is married. He's out of shape. But let's see. It's so hard to believe. That quiet boy, Uzuki, he's been terrorizing the JAA? I didn't realize things were that out of hand. Well, anyway, I'm glad you woke up, Kindaka. Honestly, I quit the order, and times are tight. Nagamo, you didn't quit the order, buddy. So he did. So, you gotta tell him the full truth. Because what if he goes back to the JAA and gets himself got? Like, dog, what? Like, and you know the new regime, Nagamo. You've been working with it for the past 8 years. So, Nagamo, don't be, like, especially considering Kindaka could be an asset. Like, he clearly does genuinely care to some degree about you and your team and your people. So, like, I'd say use Kindaka and give him the full rundown. Don't give him partial stuff, because bad things could happen if you give him partial stuff. You paid for this man's recovery for 8 years out your own tab. Clearly. The reason you were talking about last chapter, how you lost this room. So, in this case, I would legit tell him everything. Like, I'm fired from the order because Saki blamed me of working with Uzuki, which I didn't do, by the way. Didn't do. And Sakamoto, old man Sakamoto, if you remember him, yeah, he's gone. Then again, though, was old man Sakamoto part of the order at the time? I actually don't know. When did old man Sakamoto join? I actually don't know. Huh. But still, I would give him full context. Even for people he doesn't know, I'd explain, like, everything. To at least get him on the side. Because once again, he could just be useful. I was like, huh? Uh-oh, what's happening? Your life support bill is $1.2 million per month. After half the costs are covered by assassin insurance. So the total cost for 8 years is $1.15 billion. Okay, hold on. 1.15 billion yen in US dollars. $7,848,811.64. Golly! That's a lot of money. I've been paying it for you. So get me back as soon as you can, and it'll all be good. How? No, I'll admit, Nagamo would be. Nagamo, and to be fair, even if he did of his own free will, yeah, Nagamo, get at least a little bit of your money back, man. Nagamo, I just came back to life, and you hand me this? Yeah, that's a little, like, that's the main thing I'd be worried about. Like, if I'm lucky enough to find a wife and have kids, once I'm old to the point that I can't take care of myself, I don't want to become an active detriment on my kids' lives. Like, if they have to pay for me being, like, taken care of by life support, don't let me be a burden on you and your kids. If I'm still functionally able, like, I can, and I have some money saved up, which I do plan for. Once again, I'm thinking, like, super long-term terms, if I'm even lucky enough to have kids. But, like, there will be a fund set aside for me of my own money to pay for me, so you don't have to worry about it, because I don't want to become a burden on you or my grandkids. But once that money runs out, if you really love me and you have the money to spare, I guess, but if I ever become an active detriment, Grandpa Pencil is happy to meet his grandkids. If I'm extra lucky and I live as long as my own grandfather did, Great-Grandpa Pencil is happy to meet his great-grandkids. Don't let Grandpa Pencil become a burden upon you. So get rid of me. It sounds so dark, but I feel bad. I don't like being a burden on anybody, much less my own biological children if I'm lucky enough to have them. I do not want them to be like, oh, let's see, we either pay for Grandpa Pencil's life support, we pay for food. Get rid of me. But let's see. Sorry about that. I've got some expenses, like weapon repairs and whatnot. Talk soon. Are you really just gonna leave him? Nagamo, what the heck? I thought you were coming. Well, darn. What was the point of keeping him alive then? Is it just for Yotsumura? Arsh. Oh well. I guess I'll do a few gigs as rehab. Just kill 20 or 30 of those targets on the bounty list. Let's see my ID. Dude, it's been 8 years. You think you're still in there? Huh? This fat's... Oh, no! Nagamo, why would you do... Is this on purpose? Did Nagamo set him up like that? This fatso's 1 billion? Sheesh, assassins have gone soft these days. Wait, that name. So Nagamo explained nothing. Dude, what the heck? Poor fatso. He's got the same name as... Wait a minute. Nagamo said that Sakamoto retired. So there's no way this could be him. Cool. Perfect for my first rehab gig. Forgot to explain the recent stuff with Sakamoto. Oh well. Nagamo, you're a terrible person. I love you. You're still probably my favorite character in this series. But Nagamo, why? Why would you do them like... On both ends, why would you do both of them like this? And Kindaka, wasn't your back already hurting 8 years ago? Like, I know you hurt yourself literally stopping on a dime for a second. Like, dog, what? Why would you not explain? Like... Are you just now gonna run solo? Like, is that all you're doing? Are you not gonna stick with Sakamoto and crew? I mean, I guess, you got to hide from the order. But still, Nagamo, that is like the worst way. But, once again, I always gotta think, in-universe, what the characters would do, versus out-of-universe, how Suzuki-sensei and authors in general need to write their plot. And if there's one sort of contrived way to get Kindaka and Sakamoto to fight, or do anything, it would be this way. Yeah, it would be. So, and Nagamo doing something that seems a bit out of character. Like, I feel like Nagamo wouldn't be this dumb. Wouldn't be this dumb. Because, like, why would you do that? And still, I don't get what was the point. Was it literally just out of pity? Or was it because you wanted him to owe you something? But I don't know. This does feel a little... It feels contrived in the same way that the ending of the museum arc feels a little spicy and contrived. But let's see. I'll let it cook. Once again, I like Kindaka and I like Sakamoto. Hey, Shin. Do we have to run on such a sweltering day? Don't be a wimp. We gotta get as tough as we can for when the order attacks. So running out in the open is the best way to do that? Like... But I guess, now that I think... They have Kamihite, though. Kamihate? I forget if it's Kamihite or Kamihate. Something like that. But regardless, they have him. What if they just spot... It's not like Sakamoto doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. And like mainly they're hunting Sakamoto, right? So Heisuke and Shin should be fine to be running out. But Sakamoto should not be out there in these streets. He shouldn't be. Because he's an easy target. And sure, they can probably Sakamoto can probably somewhat predict Kamihite. But like, if Kamihite finds out where you are... Hey, I caught him on the corner of 3rd and this. Go jump him. Like, And now y'all don't have Nagumo. So it'd literally just be you three versus the entire order. This is not smart. Let's see. Is this really gonna make us better? Is this really gonna make us better fighters? I don't know. I never had a master. So I'm lost at a time like this. Like, what should we be doing? It's so interesting to think. Like, notably, I've never been a prodigy. I've you know, that's a lie. I've been able to pick up on some stuff easily. Like, I was lucky enough to have enough memory storage that school, with rare exception, was ever really, like, a conflict for me. I was lucky enough that way. So, like, anything that just had to do with data memorization or an application of a formula, easy for me. Rarely struggled with that. So whether it was science or biology, well, that's just science, but whether it was the sciences, I didn't like social studies because I was bad at memorizing maps. I've always been horrible with geography. I can't tell you why. I cannot use a map to save my life. I suck at it to this day. I'm bad with actual driving instructions. Like, I will miss turns all the time. I am horrible with geography. But in terms of, like, the memorization of stuff, social studies wasn't too bad for me. English was fine. I could write just fine. I could yap just fine in terms of any sort of, like, speech-giving class. The only times I ever remember distinctly struggling was, like, pre-calculus. And, like, the first year of algebra, because I jumped ahead a little bit. The first year of algebra, since I was offered at my school, I took algebra in 7th grade. That also beat the taste out of my mouth for a little bit before I spun the Maharaga wheel above my head and adapted. But other than that, I haven't necessarily had a struggle, and I do get that aspect. Because, like, when I first was introduced to pre-calc and, like, was actually getting my hindquarters handed to me every single day in class, I didn't know what to do. Because I didn't ever really had to, like, I studied, as in I had to, like, use devices and books to, like, make sure I memorized everything. But I just didn't understand the concepts. I had no idea how to teach myself how to do that, and thus I had to go get extra help. So I can understand Sakamoto's trouble here, where it's like, I was kind of just him. I don't know how to make other people or myself more him. But let's see. Oh! That was a weak, huh? Yeah, baby! I'm sorry. We got a little bit. But let's see. Look at him! He's so clean with it! Huh? Bang, bang. So what the heck happened? Why were you so he got stronger? Or at least he stayed the same. 8 years in a coma and you can still do this? Kindaka, what are you cooking? Something's coming at a tremendous speed. Oh, look at him. He's so goated, dog. I love speedsters, though. I hate him. No, I don't hate to admit it, dog. I love speedsters. Look at him. Eesh. My legs are all slow from being bedridden. Don't just stand there, fatso. It's not a good look. You're not from the Order? Do you work for X? Sakamoto's like, no. Because Sakamoto, well, admittedly, it's hard to argue that young Sakamoto or Sakamoto's past arc, Sakamoto, was in his prime until, like, arguably the Uzuki fight. Though, admittedly, apparently that doesn't take too much. Does that? I don't think that actually takes too much longer in canon. Now that we have the Uzuki's past arc compiled with the Sakamoto's past arc, I actually don't think Uzuki and Rion spent that much time together. I think it was like a couple months at most. So maybe Sakamoto was already in his prime, but he was struggling to deal with not Kanaguri. Whoa, wrong character. He was struggling to deal with Kindaka then, when he was in his prime in an area full of stuff he could grab. And they are now out in the open. Sakamoto is out of his prime and not in his current strongest state. And sure, Kindaka is also rusty and 8 years older, but still, should be cooked. Don't just stand there staring, fatso. This is not a good look. You're not from the Order? Do you work for X? Kindaka, you're awake? Oh, they're not gonna, okay, if they don't fight, that's fine. If they don't fight, that's fine. I'm more than fine with that. I'm happy to have Kindaka just train them. What? Wait a minute. No way. You know my name? Impressive intel. Now that billion-yen bounty makes a bit more sense. You know him, Mr. Sakamoto? I'll explain later. Shin, Heisuke, don't take your eyes off him for a second. He'll kill you in the blink of an eye. Because he's him. Oh, I love him. Look at him. He's already gone. That's my goal. Okay, so they're still gonna fight. Oh, Lord. Please, Kindaka, don't hurt him too much. Don't hurt him too bad, Kindaka. Please, we need him in one piece. No loof. Oh, my. Already blitzed him. Golly. Sakamoto, you better hope your durability still top tier. What do you mean? Darn! But, like, I always say it, speedsters lose the plot. Most of the time. Sometimes speedsters are just met with other speedsters and then bada bing bada boom, it cancels out. But I'm telling you, there ain't no better win con than the speed blitz, bro. If you can't touch me and I can just blitz you, dog, that is the easiest way to win. Look at that. In broad daylight, too. Boom! Straight into a building. Mr. Sakamoto! So fast! I forgot how fast you were. How do you... That's his whole thing, Sakamoto. How did you... It's been 8 years, though, and he's out of practice. Then again, though, he's been getting a lot of practice recently. Hey, Suke, I'll hold him up for a moment. Sync up! You got it! Stop! Hammer time! Oh! That's impressive. I feel like... this reminds me of? Oddly specific. Y'all remember in the 5 Kage Summit when the Raikage dodged Amaterasu? I know, weirdly specific, but it's literally, it's like the same effect in everything. Shin uses his imperceptible internal ability that only he has, launches it towards a fast opponent. The fast opponent notices something's coming, and then dodges out of the way, and it hits a random passerby. It's like almost, I need to go reread the panel. It's like frame for frame choreography too. Neat. That does confirm something. Shin's mental attacks do travel. Which is intriguing. That means they have travel speed. Meaning that hypothetically characters... So that means Shin does, at least with his... I mean, they were caught off guard, but obviously so was Kindaka. He didn't expect a random guy to just be able to do this. So... it means, at least for order tier fighters like Kamihite and Osaragi, Kamihite may be a little bit debatable considering he's a sniper, and thusly physicals are probably not his main priority, thusly he's probably not the fastest. But Osaragi, who's shown to be pretty powerful and pretty fast, her getting tagged by that, admittedly by a much closer range though. I guess that's... Actually, no! Shin, unless I'm mistaken, Kindaka actually didn't move too far. Shin is right here. So... For them to be this close range and for Kindaka to not know Shin's abilities at all and for him to still dodge it, that means that Osaragi, or at least Shin, has order tier attack speed with this move in particular. And I guess he can just spam it now. Or at least use it. Ah! I missed him! Kamihite, are you gonna hit him? I doubt. Not Kamihite. Hizuka, are you gonna hit him? I highly doubt it, bro. Uh-oh, what's he saying? Whoa! Even when I move too fast for the naked eye, he still has the perfect beat on my route. This guy's got crazy intuition. Ah! Look at that. That's impressive. And once again, it's all Kindaka's natural speed. That's crazy just to be that fast. And this kid has tried to pull something from a distance. No, it was. So I just dodged. What's he got up his sleeve? So he can say... That's crazy! Once again... Oh, okay, I know all the characters in Sakamoto Days are superhuman to, like, various degrees. So when I say this, take it with a grain of salt. But, y'all remember, very few characters... I think it's like Shin, and I guess you could say Uzuki's copying ability is also like a superpower. But like, characters, there's no power system in this universe. This isn't JJK, there's no cursed energy, this isn't Naruto, there's no chakra system, this isn't Dragon Ball, there's no ki. So, Kindaka, just on sheer intuition alone, was like, that kid tried something. I don't know what it was, considering he does not have any sort of ranged weapon in his hand, but let me just move out of the way just in case. He sensed something that shouldn't be sensible. What? You two kids are fun. New to the JAA? Nice to meet you. He's genuinely playing with them. But, so that's it. So he does still have his ID? That's crazy. But then again, I guess Asaki just thought he was coma-ridden, bedridden, or dead. So I suppose he didn't really care to check or to wipe him. But that seems like a processing error. You're telling me someone you thought was dead or executed, and what is a drastic threat to you and your organization, you didn't remove him? You didn't blacklist him? Interesting. But let's see. Darn! Just throw them both away. Shin, why do you look like a Super Saiyan right here? Suke always... He looks like Vegeta now that I think about it. Just draw... Zoop. He looks like a more spiky-haired Vegeta. Boom! Into cars. Wow! He's not just insanely fast. He's like an invisible missile. Uh-oh. Sakamoto, you know you're not hitting, bro. Sakamoto. If he's dodging extrasensory telepathic attacks, Sakamoto, you know you're not hitting that man. Let's see. Boom. Land. Oh, he actually blocked it instead of dodging it. Neat. Why are you targeting me, Kindaka? It's Sakamoto. Don't you remember me? You do look very different, though. Like... I think high school me would still recognize that's the thing I think about. Like, if I were to meet a me from 8 years past, would I recognize current me? Mostly, but I am noticeably bigger. Like, if I were to put a picture of like current me, especially if I did, like, I look more like past me when I. But even then, like, I have so much face fat now. Like, I have fat everywhere, but I have so much face fat now that it's like it's easy to tell the difference between old me and current me. But I think I would recognize it because, like, I look like my family, and I think past me would recognize that and be like, if kid me saw current me, no, because I look fundamentally different from what I did back then. Because I didn't even look like my family back then. I only aged to start looking like my mom and her side of the family. And I do have some traits from my dad's side of the family in terms of, like, general physical appearance. And I mean looks, I mean, like, facial structure-wise, I do look like my mom's side of the family. Which is ironic, because I have 2 cousins who look exactly like me on my dad's side of the family. None of, like, they all look like my side of the family, which is weird, because they're from my dad's side of the family. I can't explain it. We all just look exactly alike. It doesn't help that we have, like, the same haircut and everything, but, like, facial structure-wise, we look exactly alike. But still, I think it would be a bit of a struggle, especially considering from what Kindaka knew of Sakamoto, and considering Shin or Nagamo did not give him a full explanation of anything. I'm not surprised that Kindaka is like, okay, you claim you're Sakamoto. You have some combat skill, but you're not the kid I met 8 years ago. Let's see. I hear Sakamoto's gotten pretty famous 8 years ago. So he's got imitators now, huh? Yeah, I mean, I suppose Sakamoto would look like that, or it would seem like that. What? No! I'm the real... I guess if you can only call yourself Taro Sakamoto, most assassins would get freaked, huh? Too bad that won't work on me. The real Sakamoto was a friend of mine. I know exactly how good he was. A friend? I mean, you know exactly how good he was, but, like, y'all spent, like, a day together. Maybe 2? Like, it wasn't... Y'all didn't actually interact that much. But let's see. Huh? Kindaka. So long, phony. I'll prove to you that I'm the real Sakamoto. So, okay. So maybe this is a superpower, too. Because I wish I could do that. If I could burn off all the excess calories, all the excess chunk on me, to immediately return. Well, it's weird to say because honestly, I was still pretty chunky in high school too. But I ran track a whole bunch there, so like the chunk balanced out. I was a sprinter, mid distance when I didn't want to be, and a thrower. So like I did have some meat on you, boy. It was a weird combination. I know. Like, I'm sorry, Pencil Man, you were throwing and sprinting. It was not a good idea. I just didn't eat right and I didn't exercise enough. So I was in a weird spot physically. But if I could return back to that immediately on command, yeah, obviously I want to. So that may be another superpower in the universe. Just the ability to just instantly burn off who knows how many excess calories. But let's see. I'll prove to you that I'm the real Sakamoto. Okay, so Kindaka, you are a little bit rusty. To immediately get tagged like that, that's not like you, Kindaka. Whoops. Screwed up. What the heck, dude? Huh? Ah! Forget it. I'm the world's fastest assassin. You think I can't outrun a... train? Uh-oh, Sakamoto's bursting down the line? Okay. Darn! Okay, I mean, I guess the best way to prove it to him is just to beat the taste out of his mouth again. I can't think of an equivalent comparison in our real world, but like, I guess it'd be like remembering an old handshake. Like, say you haven't seen a friend in like 10 years, and it's been a while. And y'all both changed, one way or another. Like, say y'all met when y'all were kids, y'all spent a whole bunch of time, and then one of y'all had to move away. But y'all remembered one thing. Y'all promised to never forget. It was a handshake. And then, like, 10, 15 years down the line, y'all meet up again. And you look at each other, and you're like, how do I know it's you for real, for real? How do I know this ain't just somebody else messing with me, one of my new friends playing a prank on me or something? And y'all pull out, on command, like 15 years never passed. That, I assume, would be the equivalent of, in universe, 2 assassins beating the taste out of each other. just sheer, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you throw hands, just like a certain person I knew threw hands. That's you for real, for real. Let's see. Straight into the beams, bro. Yikes. Whew, that was really something. Time to crank it up a notch. You just got out of a coma, dog. Just tell him you know it's the... Just tell him, dog. Tell him that, oh, yeah, you punched like the real one. Huh? Oh, okay. So that calmed him. That calmed him, all right. Huh? Tay, sorry. Never would have guessed you got so fat. When'd you wake up? Yesterday. Why didn't y'all wake me up earlier? I don't think that was their choice. You woke up after 8 years, buddy. That wasn't them. You're Sakamoto's assistants? Hey, you're pretty good. Thanks? I also would just... I'd be kind of annoyed. Like, if I got thrown into cars, dog, like, really? Why'd you do that to me? That's a cool panel, though. I do like how Sakamoto genuinely looks angry. Can't believe he can move like that after 8 years in bed. What was he like back in the day? So, what the heck were y'all doing back there? We're working out, trying to get stronger. Oh! Found him. The perfect master. Yeah, baby! Huh? What? That's the thing. We actually don't... It's so interesting. We know very little about Kindaka. And Yotsumoto, really. We got a Yotsumoto backstory, but like it was of a specific portion of his life. We don't know much about the history of these characters from the past. We know even less about Old Man Sakamoto. But, obviously, Old Man Sakamoto is gone until he regenerates. I'm huffing straight copium. Old Man Sakamoto will just reappear. that old rumor about him is true, and he actually is like the embodiment of all assassins ever. But now we do got it. Alright, it was nice. We got to see Kindaka. He still kept a good portion of his speed. He obviously is still a little bit rusty, as he admits himself. He said he needed 20 or 30 gigs to get back to normal. So, unless he did those and then immediately came back to Sakamoto, he's still rusty, so he's going to get his strength back. So, Kindaka's going to be an active participant in the narrative again. As an active fighter, that's cool. We got another Order Tier threat. Someone beyond Order Tier threats, at least in terms of speed, considering he was able to dodge Shin's attack without knowing what it was, without being able to sense it, because it doesn't have a power system, so that's impressive for Kindaka. Sakamoto's ability to burn away on command is still good enough that he can keep up with this rusty Kindaka, and Kindaka's likely gonna be able to make our whole cast and crew stronger. Especially considering his speed does seem to be a unique biogenetic thing that only he can do, I do think he would be able to help. And since he's already able to notice the natural talent of Heisuke and able to read Shin's attacks before he's even able to do them, despite not knowing anything about Shin, a meal is being whipped up, ladies and gentlemen. A meal that's gonna look quite delicious. However, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave Return of the Mac. And return, as in return of the Mac. M-A-C-K. Some people will get that reference, other people won't, but Return of the Mac in the comment section down below. But, of course, you know, I had to hit the word of this on the chat real quick. But I want to thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1, get a $1 monthly, things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You can also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions to every other series I review, ad-free variations of all my videos, and if you become a $25 patron or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi description down below where you can drop 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That with a Pencil, writing off. I'd like to even thank you to our $3 members, Zena, Greyhound, Astro, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, G Prosper, Red Wolf 4765, and Paris Arnold. I'd like to give another big ol' thank you to our $5 patrons, Sean, Sammy, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin Encarnacion, Josh Brown, and A+A. And I'd like to give a great big thank you to our $7 members, Autumn Mornings Lazo, Fine, and That Guy. And I'd like to give a great big thank you to our $10 members, Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and Akid's Void. And I'd like to give big, hefty, juicy thank yous to our $10 patrons, Panda Goat, Michael Williamson, Metal Solid Crisis, Joaquin Munoz, and Idemo Kami. And I'd like to give the biggest, juiciest, meatiest, sloppiest, and heftiest thank you of them all to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder.